All right, let's look at the other basics of Palo Alto, and let's verify the default behavior. It's time for us to get into the lab.
Sir, before going to lab, just can you please draw a line in this whiteboard? That will be, I
Okay.
think, my last questions for this session.
Sukesh, just one question. Okay, so you initially started out the discussion with the stateful firewalls, then we moved on to zone-based firewall, right? So, do you actually wanted to, see state a difference between both of them, and see how zone-based firewalls are doing better out than the stateful firewalls or something of that sort?
No, stateful doing stateful packet inspection is a generic behavior these days with every firewall. Right. And when I started about zones, that's when we started talking about Palo Alto specific things.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Sir, like checkpoint having the 3-tier architecture, okay. And is there any chance I came to the TS3 or like that any this Palo Alto having also the architecture?
We will talk about it. You call it SP3. We will talk about it.
Thank you.
Right, it is still booting up. Let's give it some more time.
Sukesh.
Yeah.
Sukesh, as this is a virtual environment and we are all are getting the classes online, so is there any assistance will be for us like when we will be going to perform the practicals over this lab, or as if we face some issue during the practice?
Usually, I recommend following the video if you are stuck. But even if following the video is not helping you out, so in the next session we can take doubts after the post class hours, right? Like after 11:30, we can look at the doubts. So you can collect them over a week or two, and then we can have a session for it.
Okay, like if I'm doing practice, I'm asking if I'm doing practice on the regular weekdays, then the weekends. Then in that case, if I need some assistance, like device is not working or anything, I'm not able to perform in the lab. Then
In that case, in that case, you can open up a case with the admin team, right? And they'll help you out.
okay, yeah, that's my query. If any admin team will help
Yeah,
out.
if any problem with the device, any problem with the lab not working, so that can be,
Yeah,
taken care
configuration
by
part,
the
I
team.
agree that need to be discussed with you, but it's the GUI part that need to be checked sometimes.
Yeah. Anything related to that can be taken care by the admin team.
Okay, thanks.
Any dedicated team is there if anything doubts will become we have to be resolved field as
No,
that type of
no. See, don't mix up. There is no technical team which can resolve your technical queries about Palo Alto. That's just me helping you out, right? But if you are stuck with, let's say, your credentials not working, then you need to open up a case with the admin team, right? They can help you out with it.
Sir, can you help with Palo Alto installation on EVNG?
Sure, it's very basic thing. We can take a look at that. In fact, we did. I'll add the video to your portal as well, right? We have spent a lot of time already on EVNG, right? So there is a video which I have made from the past session. We recorded it. I'll share it with you guys also. That talks about how to set up EVNG, from where to download what, and all those things.
Is there any minimum requirement for the system to install that?
Yes, you do require a minimum of 8 GB. It's
8
not
GB
a hard
RAM.
and fast. Yeah, it's not a hard and fast requirement as such, but anything less than that, it is not going to work very smoothly. It will be stuck.
Okay, and processor, anything about that? If i5 or i5 will be
i5
good
i5
or
is good. i5 is good enough.
okay, thanks.
Sukesh, the F5 WhatsApp, is it gonna be operational for the Palo Alto WhatsApp, or we gotta create a new WhatsApp for Palo Alto group?
I think yes. I will create. Yeah, I think I will create. I'll create a group, guys, where we can all connect. Not necessarily that I will be helping you out in weekdays, but yes, at least you can put your queries and somebody else from the group can help you out, right?
Sir, this Palo Alto is based on Linux or Debian or sir, which flavor, sir?
Sorry?
It is Palo Alto device based on which Linux flavor, means Debian or like say like your 14 device of the Linux Debian flavor. So this one is Palo Alto based on which Linux flavor, sir?
Okay, I'm not very sure about this, but what I know is this and Juniper SRX, they are very similar.
Sir, just one basic question. On which layer firewall works? From
The firewall would go from layer 2 to layer 7.
Every firewall means including ASA checkpoint.
Yes, yes. All of these firewalls these days now.
Okay.
Good morning, Sukesh.
Hey, morning.
Sukesh, just a question. The ASA firewall, the Cisco old one, that's also stateful or is just packet-based?
That is stateful, but that works only up till layer 4. The legacy ASA, it works until layer 4.
Got it. It's not work on layer 7, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's going to be a challenge if like we migrating from ASA to Palo, because Palo works on like layer 7, it's going to be really
it is going to be simple. In fact, you know, you will not have too many things from ASA to carry forward to Palo Alto. A lot of things will be taken care automatically.
like I was doing like a little bit that project, so it's kind of like they have a tool and Palo that's community-based tool that's expedition normally works, and that's translate the rules actually. So is this like, because you work in the environment, is it very easy to translate, or is it just always like tricky?
Yeah, it is going to be tricky. It is not as smooth as they claim, the tool,
yes.
right, which converts your configuration. It's not going to be a smooth process. I usually don't use them, right, and I don't recommend them because, you know, end of the day you have to do things manually, and it takes more time to sort out the clutter caused by the tool than doing it all manually from scratch.
Got it.
So
Got it. So it's
usually how I plan it is, export all of the rules from ASA, probably in an Excel format or Word format, and then print them on the paper, strike out which you don't need, right, and group them wherever possible, and then put it on Palo Alto.
Got it. So you don't recommend like that. It should go via the expedition and then it's translate and then do that, right? Right.
Give it a try. Give it a try. The tools keep improving themselves, right? So you never know, right? How good they are at this moment.
Like how the cutoff is normally like I'm sure it's not going to be work in the first go, right? When you cut off that from ASA to
yeah, definitely. So
no worries.
how do you cut off? Is you prepare the Palo Alto fully, and you test it with some different set of IP addresses, and during the cutoff you replace those IP with the ones on ASA.
Got it. Got it. Is there any do you have any migration documentation? Because I did not find it on Palo actually. Only that Cisco is a very good.
There is yeah, Cisco is good in documentation, but they will not be telling you how to go away from our system, right?
They just give how to go from ASA to their firepower actually.
Right.
So if you have like you can get some time, then that will be great actually.
Okay, don't be kiddish, guys. Whatever you write on the screen is visible to everyone, and I get to see who's doing it. So don't do that again.
Sukesh, what is that booting up now? Is that the Palo Alto firewall which is booting up?
Yeah, it is. I was trying to do a factory reset. So that's the procedure of doing factory reset. So you do a debug system maintenance. It boots up into the maintenance mode, and from here we should be able to select that. Go ahead and do a factory reset. So this usually takes just wanted to show you things from scratch, but I believe the factory reset takes some time.
Sir, why we doing the factory reset?
Because I wanted to show you things from scratch. This firewall will have some configuration from the past sessions, right? Just wanted to erase that.
Means you will be erasing all the configuration, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But I realized this may take quite some time. So I'll let it run. Let's go to a different lab.
No.
Yes.
Sir, one doubt regarding trust zone. In trust zone, only we have user or we have some devices like AAA routers, switches, all these things, no?
You may have routers and switches, right? But mostly in DMZ, it is full of servers. Obviously, you'll have switches to do the switching
I
part.
understood in DMZ always server because they will access the portal, right? But
right.
in trust zone, we are
okay.
putting all devices, right?
Yeah.
But
Sorry.
in your
In
every
trust,
lab only saying, okay, please.
Right. See, my all my labs, they are broken into small pieces. So that is why you will not see those production things here, right? Because the lab which do not require Active Directory, there is no point in putting Active Directory there, right? And anyway, in production, those will be dedicated to the management interfaces or management zone, right? You can have a separate zone here in the trust itself, like as good as trust. You call it management. Those things will be kept in the management zone.
Okay, thank you. But we look at that also.
Yeah, we will look at those things. Yes.
Okay.
Sir, Sukesh sir, the checkpoint is also a stateful firewall, similar as Palo Alto.
All firewalls in the market, they do stateful packet inspection, and Checkpoint is in fact the one who invented it.
Also zone based. It is also zone based.
No, it is not zone based. Not every firewall is zone based.
Okay.
Okay, after the reboot, when you see the prompt, the login prompt, the firewall takes some time, okay, for the database to be ready. If you immediately put your credentials, admin or admin 123, whatever it is, so it will not accept them until the database is ready. All right, so in the meantime, I'll explain you the topology, this one. A simple topology, the Windows user will be used as the management PC as well as the inside user, okay, the trust user. This will connect with the management interface of the firewall. There is a dedicated management interface, yes, and the trust interface, the data interface, okay. And this connects to 1/2, which connects to a cloud that is responsible for taking it to the internet. Right, 1/2 will have IP address from DHCP. Management is in 192.168.1.1, and the trust network is 10.00/24. We will use these things as we proceed in the course.
So you will provide us some kind of lab guide or something like that. That's you provided the same in F5. It's gonna be really helpful actually.
Right. I'll be doing that. I'll be doing that. In the meantime, let me create a group. Actually, let me get a final list from the admin team, and then we will have a group created. Once you get this page, that means now the database is almost active.
So what is management code and trust code?
Hold on. Management port is used for management, right? The accessing the firewall, changing the configuration, and other services that the firewall require all use the management port. And the trust port is like any other data plane port, right? Responsible for handling the traffic.
So management port is the console port of this device.
No, management port is management port, console port is different.
Okay.
So this is the GUI of the firewall, guys. We're using 9.1.3, right? The latest is, I believe, 10.x something, right? This is the
Sir, from management, by using management port, we can modification in firewall policies. Is that possible?
right. That is what it is for.
Okay, for only modification in
We
policies.
we are accessing the firewall GUI through the management port right now. This is 192.168.1.1.
Okay.
Right. You go here under devices.
And sir, what is used for another port, which Ethernet port like that?
Yeah, those will be the data ports, right? Your traffic going through the firewall,
Oh, okay.
those are data ports.
All the traffic handling by that port.
Right, right. All right, so the dashboard can be changed, guys. The dashboard is flexible. For example, when we do high availability from the system, you can get the high availability widget. These are just widgets that you see on your smartphone also these days. Okay? So these can be rearranged. These can be requested, deleted as per the requirement. For example, this widget is showing you that these three interfaces are up right now. Right? And anything related to networking means interfaces, protocols, routing, all that is there under network, the zones. So right now this firewall has three different zones configured. Not much of configuration there, but I just wanted to create these zones from scratch. And what you have right now is three interfaces, 1/1 part of the trust zone, 1/2 part of the untrust, and 1/3 is part of the DMZ. Right, that is what is represented here.
Sir, can you explain in the picture? So can you go back to the diagram? So in the trust zone, there is net internet connected. Can you explain that? Like
Yeah,
what?
this is a net cloud. Right, let me see which one it is. Okay, this is cloud one. This connects to some internal services like the Microsoft Active Directory. Right, this connects to that subnet. We will use it, right? I'll tell you things when we use them, right? It is not necessary that we use the same lab. I may change it as per our requirement, right? These things may have stopped working, right? We are running on the mercy of trial softwares. So every time we create a new lab, I may have to change things and do it from scratch. Okay, don't get distracted, guys. Just trust me, everything will fall in its place at its time.
Sir, if management port goes down, how we can access the firewall?
Just hold on. I am telling you everything. Just hold your questions. Let me open up for question and then I'll take ones. Okay, now any interface, let's say Ethernet 1/1 that needs to be configured. Let me take you to the steps one by one, although it is configured, but I'll still tell you. First thing you do is define the interface type. There are different type of interfaces available on the firewall. You have tap interface, HA interface, virtual wire, layer 2, and layer 3. The most used interface, layer 3 and HA. Everything else is, it's just there as a feature, right? It is there, but not really used. But yes, from the interview perspective, you should know that what are these interfaces and what is their role. So talking about, I'll talk about them one by one in detail in the next one. Let me just, or maybe in the video, in the same video itself, let me go through the configuration part first, and then we talk about the rest of the types. Okay. So since we are going to assign an IP address here, you take it as a layer 3 interface. There has to be a virtual router configured on the firewall. Okay, now there is a default virtual router, means all of these interfaces of the firewall, they are part of a default virtual router. It is like creating a VRF on the routers. Okay, so all these interfaces are part of default. You may change it, you may create new virtual routers if you need a new routing instance. And trust me, there are very limited use cases of that. One of them being, let's say you have two ISP connections, right? And you want to have separate BGP peering with them, right? In that case, you cannot do it with a single virtual router, right? Because with the single virtual router, what you can do is you can run only a single BGP instance. What if, let's say this is Google Cloud and this is AWS Cloud or some of your branch. So their requirements are very specific. You have to use a certain AS number only, right, in order to have it connected with Google. So if your BGP configuration does not meet their requirements, this neighborship will never come up. So in that case, you have to split your routing, right? You have to create a virtual router for this connectivity and another one for this connectivity. Anyway, you may or may not face that in your network, but just wanted to tell you as an FYI. And as a mandatory step, you have to make the interface part of this virtual router. A security zone, 1/1 being part of trust zone, right? You simply select that zone. If a new zone has to be created, like by default, there will be nothing here. So you can simply click on zone, name the zone here, and click OK. Right, let me just create a new one. Say new test zone, do OK, and it will be available here in the list, right? As simple as that. So for now, let me select trust. In the IPv4, you can simply put the address, click on add, write down the IP address, and that's it. You don't have to do the subnet mask, just the net mask is fine, right? You can simply define /24 instead of writing the binary format 255/255, right? And one thing you have to keep in mind, everywhere in the Palo Alto GUI, if you write the IP address like this without the mask, what does it mean? It means you are trying to say that it is 10.001/32. So it imagines it to be /32. Okay, so always define a mask, otherwise it will consider it as /32. Okay, once this is done, there is a profile here on the interfaces. You can have management profiles. Now this talks about another default behavior of the firewall. Let me tell you that. So right now, if you see, there is a ping profile associated with it. Okay, let me tell you what is the default, and then I'll talk about the profile.